Hi, I'm Tony Smith. Today we're going to talk about advanced bass grooves. But first, let's tune up. Here's a G. D. A. E. and B. The groove I just demonstrated is called a rock shuffle. It's one of my favorite grooves, maybe because of the swinging eighth notes. I like to do this. Oh boy, I love that feel. The most important thing in this groove is to always remember the pulse. The pulse is here. And remember one. What I'm doing is anticipating one. So in playing this, you notice I'm using the slap technique. I'm using this because it helps me groove better with the band. And also, I'm pulling the G on the and of each beat. It goes like this. Notice the at. It helps it swing. And the anticipation on the one, I try to hit that one as hard as possible. I think that's what mainly gives this groove the feel. It's an important thing, I think, to think about where each accent lands, because this is what establishes the groove. On here, the accent is on the anticipation of one. And by swinging the eighth notes, that also is an accent. See, listen again. I'm exaggerating the one and the and of each beat. Don't let anybody tell you that one's not important, because one, I think, is what establishes each groove. Now let's check out a straight eighth feel without the eighth note swing. Listen to what it would sound like. It's not applicable for this term swing shuffle or rock shuffle by which we're using. It's important for the bass player and the drummer to have some kind of knowledge on what it feels like to swing an eighth note and when it feels like to play an eighth note straight. So, and they both have to be, if one's playing it straight and the other's swinging it, it's just not going to gel. So that's the most important thing to keep in mind, that if you're swinging the eighth note, the bass player is swinging the eighth notes, the drummer has to swing the eighth notes also. It's almost like wrong notes clashing. It's like. So now let's check out this same groove over a different style of playing. I feel like it's good to have as many techniques as possible, because just say if you get called to play this groove and your normal style of playing, the style that you're used to, what if it doesn't feel comfortable to you? You know, because I ran into that situation a lot, where a groove would come up, it's like, oh man, it just doesn't feel right playing it pizzicato style. So what else can I use? So usually what I do is say, hey, I have another technique I can try. So let's see what the pizzicato sounds like over the same groove using the same pulse over this shuffle. You notice it still sounds sort of the same, but man, playing it this way, it's almost like a drum. You know what I mean? To help, man, it moves the band a lot more than the pizzicato style. Although this style is cool, but I notice when I see guys playing grooves like this and they're playing it with their fingers, it just, I feel like it could be a lot more put into it. That's why I decided to use this technique. Remember, the pulse is important. It's going to be the same shuffle, but we're going to play it over a blues progression. Now let's take a look at another pattern we could use over the same groove. It's a blues pattern. It would sound like this. We're still using the same shuffle feel, and the pulse is still the same, but the only difference is we're playing it over a blues feel. Just check it out. See, that feels comfortable to me, using the pizzicato style. But you might want to check out the slap style to play over that. Check it out. Now, let's try another type fingering. It's my thumb technique. You use it as a pick with the up and down stroke. Just check that out. Just like this. Down and up, down, up. Some techniques make grooves easier for you to play. So when I'm listening to a song, I usually make my choices by that. Because if I'm playing a song like, okay, just take it back to the shuffle with my thumb. That feels real comfortable to me. But to somebody else, the pizzicato style might feel more comfortable. Whatever is going to make the groove happen, it's the groove and nothing else. I've always been taught, my cliche is, your groove is your best lick. Nothing else matters after that. If the groove's not happening, forget it. Now let's hear what that groove sounds like with the band. Yeah, I've always liked funk music. Funk music is my forte, I would say, because I can expand on all of my different techniques and feel comfortable. I know where all the accents lie. There hasn't been an accent, I don't think, that I haven't played yet. If there is one, please, somebody show me, because there's so many things that you could do with a funk groove. It's just like any other groove. The pulse, though, is still the most important thing, and knowing where one is. Because in funk, just like in any other music, you can mess with that number. Number one, you can anticipate it, you can leave it out, and it gives the music a different kind of feel. And if the drummer's doing it with you, it's great. I think it's important to to realize that playing grooves, the drummer and the bass player, you know, you have to be playing together. And playing those accents, locking into those accents, as far as I'm concerned, that's called playing together. And playing all the little da-da-da-da, whatever it's going to be, like an accent like this. Just take this groove, for instance. This is a straight eighth kind of funk groove. Let's see if you can find one. Try to figure out what I'm doing with one. Remember, one can be anticipated, one can be left out, or one can be held longer, held over from the fourth beat over to the first beat. Just check it out. Do you know where one is? One is here. One. I anticipated one. That feels great when the drummer's doing the same thing. Now, in playing funk, it's just, oh man. What I did when I was a kid, I listened to James Brown, Gladys Knight and the Pips, you know, old R&B, Wilson Pickett, Larry Graham, well, he's my favorite, but anyway. Sly and the Family Stone. And this accent is played somewhere all the time. Just take a James Brown groove, for instance. You notice how one is hit? It's on a downbeat. We're not anticipating one on this groove. Or it could be played, let's hold the one a little bit longer and see what it sounds like. It's so much fun when that happens. Did you notice I snuck up on one? Just leave one out. The and one. Let's try it again. That's also an accent. Now let's hear what that groove sounds like with the band.